Hi, today I'd like you to practice that closed reading strategy of reading 3 times. And the first time you read, you want to read to get the gist. And so for this story, The Mystery of Roanoke, I just want you to read straight through, either by yourself or with a family member, about this story, which is the story is told from the point of view of a young boy named Robert, who is immigrating to America from England in 1587. And then the second time you read, you're going to read for details. And as you read, I want you to notice like some specific things. So in the first section of The Mystery of Roanoke, I want you to notice what details help you understand how America seemed to Robert when he first saw it. And I just want to point one out to you. So for example, over here in this first section, it points out that people from his home, from where he came from, talked about this dazzling, unfamiliar land. That during his travel, the rats nipped at people's toes. These are descriptive details that help us really understand how America seemed to Robert on his journey. Now, as you continue, you are going to read about what it's like when he first gets to America. And golden beaches sloped down to glittering water. This is how it looked to him when he first arrived. So, what do you think America feels like to Robert? What do you think he's perceiving? What do you think he's feeling as he arrives? Now, the 1500s really were a time of change for European countries. And in this section, Many Wonders, this is going to go into a little bit more detail about that. You're going to want to be thinking about how during the 1500s, the Europeans found out about lands that they didn't know existed before, such as North and South America. And that's because explorers from Spain, Portugal, England, and France, they set out to learn more about these places, and they claimed treasures for their countries. So you are going to notice as you read, there's some vocabulary words like explorers. This section names those specific explorers. We've studied Christopher Columbus before. Okay, we're going to continue on in our reading, and we're going to learn about how the arrival of Europeans in America actually affects the Native Americans because it changed their experience. So when the Europeans arrived, actually thousands of Native Americans died of diseases that the Europeans brought with them. And then thousands of others Native Americans died during fights with the explorers and settlers over food and land. Unfortunately, the majority of the Algonquin people from the area around the Roanoke colony, they stopped trusting the Europeans, and then eventually they refused to trade with them altogether. When you get to this section, Worried Whispers, the main idea of this section is that the colonists were actually in danger of running out of food and other supplies. So they convinced their leader to go to England to bring back what they needed to survive. Now, when you get to the section Without a Trace, I want you to try and think about the details that connect it to the first section. Now, there's an illustration that has text features on it, but I want you to notice that in Without a Trace, it explains that when John White returned to Roanoke, all the colonists had vanished from the face of the earth. And that's actually described in the very first section of how there was nothing there when they arrived. The illustration actually shows an empty clearing. Let's find it. Why can't I find it? Right over here. And a post with the word Croatan carved into it. Okay. So as you read and then you do your final read, then you'll be able to go to the questions, and the quiz is posted in Google Classroom. And most of the questions on the quiz are going to highlight what I talked about in this video. Have a great day.